Hello, everyone. Today we have Keith Davis here with us, and he is a running candidate for a California commissioner office. Today we'll be asking some interesting questions and how he came to be and what's driving him and how to move forward and all these trials and tribulations. Anything goes. So welcome aboard here. Welcome to our podcast here. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me, Yuri. It's an honor and a pleasure to be able to speak to you and share my heart about the people of California and the issues that we're having right now with insurance. So thank you again for having me.
Sure, you're welcome. Anytime here. Yeah, so we need good people like you on the podcast, and so that you can share all that's driving you and anything that's with the insurance and everything else that's dealing with the modern day problems. So, why don't we start with the first question? So, here's the one here. What made you finally decide to run for California Insurance Commissioner?
Well, there's many things that made me have the desire to run, but there was one issue that really stood out to me that kind of pushed me over the edge, and that's with the Palisades fire, the Eden fire, all the fires that happened last year. It was definitely devastation. I felt
Mhm.
really bad for the people because a lot of people lost their homes. They lost their some people lost loved ones. They lost their vehicles. They lost their pets. I like to say pets because I can't imagine losing my pet. You know, it affected me. But some of
Right.
these people lost their lives, Yuri. And I
Hmm.
was sitting down on my couch and I was watching the news. And on the news, there was probably about 100 people around the podium, and they were complaining about how the insurance companies weren't helping them or giving them any of the money from the policies on premiums that they've been paying for years. It broke my heart. Somebody needs to have their back. Somebody needs to step up. They've already been through one tragedy, and now they're dealing with the insurance companies. It's like a second tragedy that they have to deal with. So that pushed me over the edge. At that point is when I began the process of my campaign, starting to run for insurance commissioner, as well as I've been an insurance agent for close to 10 years, so I understand firsthand what the problems are, and I have solutions and a vision on how to fix it. So that's really what pushed me over the edge and really made me want to run for insurance commissioner because I don't think that there's representation for the people right now. There's only representation for the companies.
That's well said, seriously. Um, I mean, all these issues are now on the line because not enough candidates are addressing them nowadays. And you're one of those unique ones who has the fortitude, so to speak, to then address the right issues first and foremost and try to solve them for the common folks and for those who are especially a desperate need of insurance and those fire victims who got dropped left and right with their insurance premiums or insurance companies that don't want to insure anyone anymore in California, especially. So it's becoming a lot more expensive nowadays. You may know. So, like for instance, what do you see now? What problem right now? What is the main problem in the California insurance business now that frustrates you the most right now, out of anything you can think of?
Well, that's a great question. There's a few things that frustrate me, but the item that kind of makes my blood boil the most is the wildfire score and the risk that the state has that has ran rampant and now is forcing everybody because the entire state is a high wildfire risk. It's forcing everyone to pay increased premiums for their homes, as well as probably about 80 to
Hmm.
90% of the policies that I've done over the past 2 3 years have been a combo policy where you have a carrier that covers you for water and liability, and then you have the California Fair Plan, which covers you for fire and wind and vandalism. And
Oh.
it makes everything so much complicated, so much more complicated than it has to be. Um, you
Hmm.
know, there's parts of this state that have never seen a fire before, ever in its history. But because it's California, they've deemed certain areas, most areas, as a high fire score. And now people are paying higher premiums and having to deal with two policies instead of one just to have basic coverage for their home. So to me, fixing the wildfire score for the state, reviewing the data, and seeing what truly is a high fire area and what isn't a high fire area needs to be fixed. And that's the item that's frustrating me the most.
All right. Well, here's the next question to you then. Uh, so, what separates you now from a typical, let's say, average politician who just is doing it for themselves mainly? Like a career politician, if you want to call it that way. So, what separates you the most? How do you stand out?
It's very interesting you asked that. I've actually have been discussing this with a few of my contemporaries and people who are helping me with my campaign. The thing that I'm noticing is that the people who are running for insurance commissioner right now, some of them are career politicians, and not many of them, if any, have actually been an insurance agent. And so what
Oh.
separates me
Hmm.
is that I've wrote home policies, I've wrote auto policies, I've pulled MVR motor vehicle reports. I've challenged items that are on motor vehicle reports that are causing people to pay higher auto premiums. I've filed
No.
claims for
Hmm.
people. I've fought with the insurance companies on denied claims. I've wrote every single type of policy, a home auto, a life policy, a medical insurance policy. I've done it all. And so that's what
Oh.
separates me
Uh-huh.
from a career
Cool.
politician is that I'm not a politician. I'm an insurance agent. And because I'm an insurance agent, I'm boots on the ground and I've seen firsthand the problems that we've had in insurance. And I'm able to go in and know specifically how to fix them rather than being somebody who's kind of looking at it from the outside in, just like all of us consumers are. 'Cause, I mean, you don't need glasses to see that there's a
No,
problem
no.
with insurance. But when you
Oh,
haven't
yeah.
been the one writing the policies or been included or had to fight with some of these companies for the people, you don't necessarily know how to fix something. You just know it needs to be fixed. I know how to fix it. I have a vision on how to fix it. I've been inside the industry to know what's wrong. And that's what separates me from the career politician that's running for insurance commissioner.
Oh, yeah. That's definitely coming from the heart. Definitely, it sounds like you really care about the fellow people, and sounds like you've done it all. Where you've seen the ups and downs of it. You've seen what can go wrong. You've seen how it should be done instead. So, for instance, one time you mentioned before even that there were too many denied claims on the market. I mean, is this still a prevalent problem, or is this something you're going to solve for the people? Because those folks who really need that insurance coverage, they then get denied somehow through some legal loopholes. Whether it's legal, we don't know. We know it's unethical. So ethics are a major problem nowadays, like an obstacle to the insurance business and the conflict and the vested interest that some of these politicians have, if they're in their insurance business pockets. So, like, is this now still a major problem that should be dealt with, this denied claims issue?
Absolutely. In fact, one of the things that I've been campaigning for, or one of the things that I'm going to do, if the people of California elect me for this position, is I'm going to create almost like a board, but I'm going to create a
Hmm.
panel of people who are going to be responsible for looking at all denied claims that have been denied wrongly or have been challenged.
Yeah.
Because what I've come to find out is that the insurance companies, they love to take money, but they don't want to pass it out. And so a lot of times they'll go into a claim situation and they're looking, instead of looking for how they're going to help, they're going into these situations looking at how they can deny someone. And so
Yeah.
I've
Hmm.
seen people file claims that were legit claims, and the insurance company said no for something that they had no business saying no for. I've seen insurance companies, I've seen someone file a claim and the insurance company try to lowball the individual and not give
Ah.
them everything because of XYZ reason. And so,
Hmm.
since I know that that happens, because again, I've been in this industry and I've seen it firsthand, and I fought with the insurance companies to make sure that this was going to get taken care of. I fought with adjusters. Um, since I know that this is a problem, one of the things that I do want to do is make a board or a panel of professionals who are going to take a look at every single denied claim, look at the facts, and if everything checks out, then that claim will have to be covered. There's no more of this, shortchanging or lowballing the person who's paying their premiums, and it's taking care of them, because when tragedy happens, that is when
Yeah.
insurance should be stepping up and not stepping back.
Uh-huh. Yeah. That's for sure. Yeah. So, especially on your website, you even emphasize certain things like that. Where we have to step up in a way. So, I'm gonna go into your issues section on your website. We're gonna make it very interactive here, and we're gonna face more of the issues here that you have. Yeah, so especially it says with some high risk areas increased 33% or more above inflation, pricing many out of coverage altogether. So we're looking at a different issue now. It's also becoming more expensive for people to be insured, especially homeowners, and if they're denied claims there, especially there because of certain fire damage or anything else. And it goes beyond that, like you explained before. Even it's not just home and owners insurance, it's all other insurance and healthcare as well. So where it's prevalent, it's kind of running rampant on the markets. Auto insurance as well, we need to look into. So are you also looking into issues with the auto and property insurance, because you mentioned it on the website there, and how significant is the auto insurance relative to, let's say, healthcare or homeowner insurance? What are you planning to accomplish there?
Well, healthcare insurance, it's a different animal. A lot of that is federal. I do plan on putting a panel together to see how or what we can do to just make sure that we're operating with integrity in that space. But in regards to auto insurance, I think what's most important is that people are educated, because a lot of us we
Yeah.
we get our auto insurance, and the companies will send us our renewals, and there's an increase on there, and we really don't know how to lower the premium. We just accept the increase and say, man, this company is charging me this much. And then you go and shop, and all the insurance companies seem to
Mhm.
be in cahoots in
Yeah.
some sense, to where it's for some reason you're paying so much more. And so I believe education is important. Educating people and letting them
Education.
know that, hey, in other states you're rated for your insurance by your credit score, but in California you are rated for your insurance by how many miles per year you state that you drive. And so what these
Uh-huh.
insurance
Yeah.
companies will do
Uh-huh.
is they'll have you at maybe 15,000, 20,000 miles a year, but you're working from home. You only drive around town. You got three
Yeah.
cars. Your one car here only, you probably drive that only on the weekends, and close. You're driving maybe 5 to 7,000 miles per year. Well, by educating the insureds and letting them know, say, hey, make sure you're telling your company you only drive this many miles per year. Literally, Yuri, literally can save you
Literally.
50 to 100. And in some cases, I've seen
Wow.
$250 a
Yeah.
month savings just by changing
Uh-huh.
that little that mileage there. And what they'll do is, on
That's
renewals,
significant.
they'll keep increasing it. They'll increase it
Mhm.
up. And as long as you're not saying anything, you just think, oh, my policy's going up, and you just pay it. But educating the consumers, letting them know, like, depending on where you work, you might qualify for a discount. There's so much education that I want to make sure is being relayed over to the people, so that way they're not just throwing all their money at the insurance companies without having any kind of say so, or wondering why it's happening, or actually doing something to lower it. So I just believe that education is important, not only for auto insurance, home insurance as well too. I don't think that people completely understand insurance. They're getting the renewals, and they're paying them. They're looking at them, but there's some hidden things that these companies won't tell people that can literally save you money. And I think it's important that as an insurance agent, we let the people know, like, hey, this is what you can do to save yourself money.
That's a very good point. Yeah, exactly. Education and savings are crucial nowadays in the modern society here, especially with so many people are facing high premiums. Uh, Even there's one thing that you said on your website. These rising premiums, limited options, and claim processing delays have become the new norm, which is unacceptable, you said, with an exclamation mark. There you go. That's what you said.
Yeah, it's absolutely unacceptable. And I stand by that. And I stand on that. And it's time to fix it. It's time to have an insurance commissioner in there that cares about the people and is going to fight for them as I've always have my entire life.
That's really great to hear. Well, you're a very admirable person. It takes a brave one to run for office. I mean, because I know how much stamina it requires and how much patience and how much perseverance, all these noble virtues coming at once in order to run for an office. And you have to be benevolent. You got to be like you, pretty much, who actually cares about the people who need insurance and who want to have fair coverage and more accessibility and education and everything. So it's very important to run on these things. I believe you have a very high chance of actually uh, coming way ahead in your campaigns. I'm wishing you really all the best luck because I know it can be arduous and it can be exhausting sometimes, doing all these PR campaigns. But I believe people will recognize that in you. They will recognize the goodness and the type of scrutiny that you want to have for them, to actually cheer for them, to actually get for them this right coverage and education and everything else, and something that's again very fair for them without those denied claims, and something that can create this positive reform. There you go, something that we need currently in the industry.
That's right. Yeah. I believe a lot of people may be running again with ulterior motives, or maybe just for the title. And I just care about people. I mean, I care about people. I care about people, not being used. I care about, people saving money. I care about people being treated fairly and with respect. And that's one of the things that I just don't believe right now in regards to insurance that the people are getting. They're not getting treated with respect. Um,
That's correct.
insurance is something that everybody has to have. Every adult 18 and over should have some form of insurance, be it an auto, be it home, be it life. There's something that they can all have. And so I think it's important because that market is so massive and so vast that there be somebody that's the insurance commissioner that's going to care and fight for the people.
Well, that's really also very important to note. So I'm glad you mentioned all these things, and of course, more things will be coming. I assume on your website. If we'll be expecting, if it's blogs or anything else, any updates that people can look up on your website. There's a donations campaign that's coming up. Also, you can maybe let people know because you did let me know something is coming soon. So let's keep all the folks excited there, and. Don't forget to visit, by the way, gokeithdavis.com. We'll display it there in the description there of the podcast, and feel free to share that website and share the passion and the drive that Keith has for the insurance business. But definitely check back with the website as we'll be posting either newer updates or also support Keith Davis any way you can so that he becomes your new California Insurance Commissioner.
Thank you so much, Yuri. Yeah, I definitely. You can go to the website, gokeithdavis.com for any updates. Until the primary happens, I won't be requesting any money from anybody. We're going to try to run this campaign as effective as possible. If we're able to make it through June, at that point now, there's going to be a push, and so people can always go on the website and donate. They have all access to me through any of the social medias. We have Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, and we're in the process of starting a YouTube and an X as well. So everyone should have access to me and to see what's going on. We want to run a campaign that's full of transparency. We don't want to hide anything from the people. I want people to know that this guy, Keith Davis, that's running for insurance, wants to help us, and we can trust him,
Yeah.
and we can know that he's going to do exactly what he said he's going to do.
Exactly. Yeah. So thank you so much for being here on the podcast, and thanks for sharing all of your potential resolutions for these issues and everything, and how you're planning to create positive change in the insurance business. We'll talk again, I'm sure. Thanks a lot for your time, and best of luck to you with all your campaigning.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate you. And again, go KeithDavis.com. And I hope everyone can have it in their hearts to elect me, and let's make some history in California.
Make some history. I agree with it.